I love online dating. I can't get enough of it. I spend my every single spare minute scrolling through sad, desperate humans.
It's a dead sentence.
Hello and welcome to It's a Death Sentence. I'm Emma Skip.
I'm Carrie Smith.
Hi, Carrie Smith.
Hi, nice to see you. I'm
Yeah.
good. You?
I'm good. Now, I know that you are not dating because you're married.
I'm happily married, darling.
Happily married. But we're going to try and make this episode, we're going to shoehorn you into it somehow. So
Maybe I can just be like the judgy voice in the background.
yeah, not me, darling. I'm happily married. So I really wanted to do an episode on death and dating, and not that I think that you should date people who are dead. You shouldn't do that.
No,
It's frowned upon.
a bit Ed Gein.
Oh, wow. But I think it's something that we skirt around a little bit. We've talked about this type of thing before. How can we recognise when you're bereaved, when you've suffered a loss of somebody you love or whatever, how do we know how much of that grief is informing our decision making and how we operate in the world?
Yes, and we sort of agreed, didn't we, that it seems to be quite a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I also think that, we talked a little bit about rage being one, how do you know if that's grief, hormonal, or just actually justified rage because somebody's been a twat? Sometimes it's that,
Yeah.
But
Have you ever been to a rage room? I know I'm going off on a
so
tangent.
Sophie bought us, my sister, she bought us ticket to a rage room and it didn't come about. We booked it and something went wrong with the booking. So no.
I've been. I took
Is it really
my
good?
son and my nephew and my brother's wife
Oh,
before my brother died, and it was wicked.
really?
Yeah, I trashed the shit out of stuff.
I
it
think
was
maybe
so
you
good.
and I should go.
And the guy said afterwards, I was like, I felt quite emotional afterwards.
I bet.
It's a bit of a release, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the guy who owned it, I was talking to him, and he said, "You'd be surprised how many people we have regularly come."
Oh, really? Like a therapy.
Yeah, and like just trash the place. And you have your own playlist. I've actually got it saved in my phone as Rage Room.
Wow.
So it's all like proper go for it
Isn't
music.
it amazing that we've gone from...
Sorry, death and dating.
So yeah, I want to do an episode on death and dating. That's what it's
Anyway.
called. And we really quickly moved on to rage.
Again.
I mean, there's a correlation here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Happily married, you must still experience rage.
oh, absolutely.
And I mean, let's start there actually. Like, so your husband, God love him, he's wonderful. He has been with you through you losing your brother, and obviously has to be an absolute rock for you. I mean, it must be testing for him and you.
Yeah, but similarly, we were married when he lost his mum.
Yeah.
And that was quite traumatic for him. And he still is in grief now, massively.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Are we, 3 years down the line?
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
3 years. I mean, 3 years.
Just
It
goes.
feels like
Yeah.
it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're very supportive of each other. It wasn't that it tested our relationship at all, because it didn't. Nothing was questioned at all. We were fortunately. But I can see why there could be difficulty with a partner if they were less understanding.
Yeah, it's a strange
I think
one.
it happened the way round that it did. That was beneficial. He lost his mum. I'm quite an understanding person. I work in death. My brother wasn't ill at the time when we lost his mum. I'm quite a proactive person, so I was able to give him as much support as I could, as much as he wanted.
Yeah.
Because men and women are very different.
And did he want a lot?
We did talk about things. Him and his sister, they've lost the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That bond was there.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before, talking about, eventually, God forbid, when my mum and dad go, that I haven't got a sibling now to share that shared grief with. He definitely lent on his sister. They lent on each other. They had each other to support. I was very understanding about things. And then in turn, when my brother died, he was extremely understanding and continues to be extremely understanding, possibly because he's been through grief himself. I don't know if he would have been if he hadn't, maybe. I mean, actually, him as a person is very kind. So, yes, I think he would have been, but I wonder if he would be less tolerant
Well, because
if he
he's not
hadn't
got it in his
grieved
locker.
himself. Yeah.
It's sometimes just as basic as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can read books on things, can't you? But if you don't have the lived experience, you can't have an emotional connection to it, can you?
No, and that's why people they tend to say what they think is right, because they've never had experienced it themselves. But I can see how it would add pressure to a relationship if somebody isn't able to support in the way they possibly should.
It's interesting. So I've lost both my mum and dad, as you know. Mum is now over 10 years ago, and I was married then. And what I would say is my then husband was excellent while my mum she was very poorly. She, it was a very similar situation to your brother. And it's really hard to watch. It's really hard to be part of. And he threw himself into that head first. He was absolutely brilliant. And he wasn't just brilliant for me. He was brilliant for my dad. And he was brilliant for my sister because her partner was useless. So, I'll always be indebted to him in that way. Because
did he have any loss to draw on?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Really good question. So he lost his mother when he was a child.
So it's that whole shared experience.
Well, I think he was actually so young. I won't go into massive details, but he has very vague memories of her. So he wasn't an age where those memories are really solid. And so I often wondered whether it was a kind of catharsis for him to be able to be involved with my mum's death.
Yes.
And he was so physical. So, when somebody's dying and they're massively dehydrated, for example, their mouth is really dry, as you well know. And so you're always constantly trying to wet it, you're trying to make them comfortable, they're having loads of morphine, there's all these things that are going on. And he was like full on, hands on. He was absolutely brilliant. And then, go forward 10 years and I lost my mum and I was with someone who I'd not been with for very long, and they managed to support me through that, and we didn't stay together. And that is really hard for that person. And I've been with somebody that I was in a relationship with prior to, and I hadn't ever lost anyone. And when he lost his dad, I now understand how I behaved. So it wasn't badly. I was very supportive for him, having had I'd lost family members and I'd lost a couple of friends, but no one really close to me. But when his dad died, within 3 months, I was expecting him to be back on his feet and okay. And he wasn't. Of course he wasn't. And I know that now because I know that it doesn't work like that. But having never lived it, I couldn't really fully, well, perhaps I could have learnt more about it. I mean, we were still quite young, really. I think we were like in our early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. So, but I couldn't be that present for him. But now having gone through it myself, I would like to think I could be perpetually there for somebody else. But the point is, it's hugely, hugely demanding on a relationship, isn't it? Hugely demanding.
Absolutely.
So if you are in an established relationship and you've got a really, really good open lines of communication, you might well be lucky and find yourself in a great position, or you might be in a long-term relationship that sadly doesn't have those open lines of communication, and there's some, emotional things going on there that they're not available to you in that way, and that must be really hard.
And death does sort of make you reevaluate things, doesn't it? It makes you think, is this worth my energy? Is it serving me anymore? And it's sort of, like I said, you have a low tolerance for bullshit. So if you're in a relationship and you are unhappy, that might be the catalyst to say, actually, life is too short. I'm not going to stay in this relationship anymore. I'm going to get out.
We do see that, don't we?
And,
we see that. People making really big changes in their life.
Change jobs, they change.
Go and buy a house in Spain.
Yeah. I mean, whatever serves you.
Have you bought that house yet? I'm really waiting on that house, Carrie. So my question really is, how do we navigate dating after a death? Using the term bereaved, not just to describe losing a partner, which thankfully, we're not in that position, but we have obviously interviewed lots of people who have lost a partner, and that's actually quite a different thing, isn't it? But I'm using this term bereaved or loss. So for anybody that's experienced loss of somebody very close to them, whoever that is, knowing how it affects your life and your decision making, how do you navigate the world of dating, particularly in the age group that we're now in?
In that wonderful age group.
Yeah.
So tell me, how has it affected your dating?
Well, firstly, online dating wasn't new to me. I met my husband through online dating many
Okay.
years ago. So I'm actually, I'm not scathing about it in that way. What I do find really challenging, which everybody will, whether they're bereaved or not, is just it's an ocean.
Of morons.
It's just so vast. There are now, 10 times the amount of website, like online dating sites, and writing a profile for yourself. It's like a cheap kind of like selling yourself, like it's a bit of a meat market, isn't it? And but then, the alternative is being on your own, or you're just not going to meet people organically in the way you did in your 20s. You're not going out as much. People are paired off. They have children. Don't see people as much, do you? So,
I mean, it must be hard to meet somebody, like they must be navigating the same. There's got to be good people out there that are navigating the same thing. Not everyone you meet must be a weirdo. Surely they must be.
well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Is that me trying to be positive?
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I think I could probably go off on a whim here, and it might be a little bit too subjective. But I think, if you were to go on any popular dating app at the moment, it's really sad, isn't it? Because we're just dismissing all these humans.
Just on what they look like.
No. And sometimes for me, I'll go, that person's good looking. And then I read something and I just have this immediate cringe. And I'm like, no, yeah, it's gross. Or they don't say enough. And I think, well, actually, my logical mind tells me that perhaps they just couldn't be fucked to write a decent profile. And that person might be just a brilliant match for me. They might have had some loss in their life and be really relatable to me. Or they might not. You can't find out the nitty gritty about somebody online. You have to then put in this legwork of messaging and the toing and froing and it's exhausting. I think if you talk to anybody about, I can't think of anybody I've spoken to who go, I love online dating, I can't get enough of it. I spend my every single spare minute scrolling through sad, desperate humans.
So have you got to wait for them to match with you? So if you like somebody, can you just message them or?
So basically, I am that person that makes profiles and then deletes them.
Oh, because you get scared?
Oh, yeah, or I talk to a couple of people and I'm immediately put off by it.
Oh, you just rather than say, no, I'm not interested, you delete your whole profile.
Well, do you know what? I'm gonna treat you all because I have spoken to many of my friends about this, and I did wonder about doing a little podcast series, maybe under a pseudonym, but I've decided not to do that. I've decided to discuss it in this arena because my online dating experiences of 2025, especially in the early parts, January and February, were a plethora of disaster.
Oh, God. Did they make you want to drop dead?
They did, yeah. And yeah, I mean, actually, two of them are death related. No one actually somebody did die, but not one of the people I dated.
But after a date with you?
Yeah. I just think what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe change their names.
Absolutely.
I think I'll do
data protection.
Yeah.
And all that.
But I think having
you know who you are.
At the time I did these dates, my dad was, poorly, so it was hard. I'd lost my mom, so that was hard, and I'd lost friends, and so that's hard. But I know that that is part of my character. Living with profound loss like that, it does inform who I am, and it does come into the everyday nitty gritty of things. And the people I meet, I generally know whether I'm going to relate to them in a friendship or relationship very quickly. And I think that comes with age as well. Maybe, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just reading through my notes here, and I can't read some of them, so that's
Bear
good.
with.
I've actually
hold.
called it a brief history of 2025 dating disasters in brackets. So the ones I've decided to focus on are actual dates, not ones that I just messaged, because that I just
they don't count.
Couldn't be
So
bothered.
you went through the messaging stage and you actually physically met up with these people.
So the first one, we're going to call him Harold.
Oh,
I've just made
like
that
Harold
up.
Shipman,
Oh,
that
God.
famous killer.
Anyhow, so this guy. So what I did is I basically decided to challenge all my boundaries. So I don't really have a type, as you know. But I did decide I would go out with somebody much older, much younger, much bigger, much smaller, maybe a woman.
Sampling
Maybe
everything.
yeah, we just went for everything because I just thought, well, at least I can't be accused of having a type and only like clicking on pictures of somebody that looks the same as everybody else I fancy. So that's what I did. So the first guy, Harold, that I went out with, we're going to call him Fat and Pompous.
Fat and pompous.
Yeah.
Was that part of your your type?
I've given. Yeah, no, it wasn't. So this one was off like one of the more highbrow dating sites that you actually pay to be a member of. So I
Okay.
thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I'll take it seriously.
And if he's going to be fat and pompous, he might as well be
Well, I
fucking
didn't-
rich.
I mean, he didn't say he was fat and pompous on his profile, so I didn't know. So I had a few conversations with him. So he moved to text, and he had a few and then we had a few conversations on the phone, and he was really interesting on the phone, and he was like quite a nice guy. I was like, okay, that's good. When I say really interesting, I mean like I was interested for
Yes.
that time. I didn't want to I'm awful on the phone, as you know. I'm shit on the phone. I need to like see somebody. So anyhow, so went out on a date with him, and we got really, really drunk, which is not a good idea. You shouldn't do that.
No.
Shouldn't do it. Don't do that. And so I came away from that date with this kind of incorrect version of him.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, no, I thought
But it was the wine.
it was the wine talking. It was,
Oh, no.
and it, so the reason I've called him Fat and Pompous, which is really, really sounds really mean, is because the picture did not sell the item.
Oh, no.
Okay, and
It's a Temu version.
But listen, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I did push my own boundaries there because I'm like, okay, well, he's not. I don't really find him attractive, but I've invested this time into like talking to him, so I should probably go on a second date with him, which is what I did.
Okay.
And so the second date, I got there and he was definitely drunk already. It was early evening.
So maybe he was nervous.
Nah, this guy's definitely not nervous.
Or an alcoholic.
Possibly. He then sat, because I noticed what time it was, I sat down, and he talked at me for 45 minutes. Like,
Talked at you.
talked at me about himself, about his wealth, about what car he drives, about what businesses he owns, mega money, went on and on and on and on. And eventually I just said to him, that's great. What do you know about me? And
He went, I saw you on a dating app.
I saw you on a dating app. So I just said, well, that's great, but what can you tell me about me? Because I can now tell you who your family are, what businesses you own. I can tell you everything about you because you haven't fucking stopped talking about yourself. You haven't asked me a single question. And so I think his back was up a little bit about that. So that was a bit of a disaster. And then anyhow, the food came out and I was thinking, oh God, he's really drunk. He'd ordered another bottle of wine.
Oh. And had you had nothing to drink at this point?
No, I had to have a drink to get through it. I had to, but the waitress then came and he was rude to the waitress. He was really exceptionally rude to this young waitress.
Oh.
So then I went and apologised to her on his behalf, and then I left. I just left
him.
Yeah.
With the bill and all his money?
Yep.
Good for you.
So that was the end of that. And then he did ask me out a couple more times after, and I just politely declined.
Did you tell him why?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said he's not normally like that. And I thought, you went on and on at that waitress. You were awful. So my feeling was,
If he's done it once,
do you know what I'm saying?
he's done it twice.
Fat and Pompous.
Yeah.
So that was the end of Fat and Pompous. Next was Neil Suicide.
Pardon?
Neil Suicide. So
Oh.
I just need a drink. It's just water because it's the middle of the day. So Neil messaged me quite a lot and he was really nice. He did start to talk quite a lot about a job he was going after. And, you're having this chit-chat, this to and fro with somebody you don't know. So you just get into anything really for the sake of trying to find out about them. Anyhow, he turned up to meet me, and firstly, there was some severe halitosis going on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really noticeable. And then within 20 minutes, he'd done another, Fat and Pompous. He just talked at me.
Oh. I wonder though if that's nerves.
I do wonder. So with Fat and Pompous, it wasn't. With Neil Suicide, I think perhaps it was.
Yeah.
Because I think, and he was kind and he said nice things, you look very beautiful and blah, blah, blah. But then just went on and on and on. And then within 40 minutes of meeting him, he told me how he'd attempted suicide.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Not a good
first
starter.
date, yeah. So, and the thing is, we're doing a podcast on death, aren't we? So we should have room, shouldn't we? We should have room for somebody coming out with that.
Absolutely. And do you know what?
But
Fair play to him.
But did I?
Not by the sounds of it, because I've not met Neil suicide.
No, I did. And I listened to him talk about it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a massive part of his life. And he felt that on, date number 1, that was something he wanted to share.
I mean, if somebody's come through that and they're through the other side, absolutely, it's a positive thing to share.
Yeah. It's really difficult.
It's quite an overshare when you've just met somebody, though.
It is.
I feel like sometimes...
I don't think I would tell somebody that. Something that private.
I think that's more intimate conversation. That's like day 5 or 6.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Answers on a postcard, though, if anybody else wants to comment on this. Because, one of my questions later on, and we'll come to that, is I wanted to talk about, what is the right format for first date conversation? Because actually, this is the whole point of the podcast, whatever, my understanding of myself is that I know that grief is in my life and I know that it's part of who I am and I deal with it. But it also is really important to me that whoever I am with also understands that about me, because otherwise we're not going to understand each other.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'll move on. Then there was Alex, and he was nice.
Yeah.
He was really nice, just a really nice person. So and this list goes on, but he was like the one person who was really nice, but he was so nice I wanted to sit him on my lap and pat him.
Oh.
Yeah, he was super sweet.
He was very cute.
Yeah. Then there was a guy...
Not cute enough to keep around, but...
no, not at all. Really, really nice. And then, and there was another guy, and I'm just going to call him so good looking, so dull.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That tends to be me.
He was so good looking. Absolutely. I'm going to be really vacuous here. He was like a vision. He was easy to look at. Really good looking. And I just thought, can I get over the fact that you're not very interesting? So I did try.
You got under it.
No, I didn't at all. I did give him a cheeky snog in the car park. I did.
Maybe because he's so good looking, he didn't have to work at anything else.
I don't know. He just, I wondered whether there was some spectrum behaviour there, because he wasn't that he wasn't bright. He just lacked humour.
Yeah, or social skills.
He could talk to me. It was just very serious.
Oh, okay.
And when I was, my hilarious self.
Absolutely.
Or I tried to be, then he sort of just looked bewildered. That's the only word
I do most of the time.
Just the only word I could describe.
Aww.
So, I mean, shall I go on?
Carry on, please.
Okay. This one is probably the best one. This is £1 Million winner.
Okay.
I can't believe I've never told you any of these.
I have heard a few along the way.
Okay, so let's try and say £1 Million winner. So again, a dating app. And it was the middle of a day. Mm-hmm. And he just rang me and he said, do you want to meet up? And I was like, okay, because I was free. I could do that. It was a nice day. Do you want to meet at there's a local lake? So we went there. And
a lake?
Yeah. Went to the lake.
That's a bit romantic, maybe.
Well,
a walk around the lake or a picnic?
I mean, it's in a place that isn't that romantic. I'm just not going to badmouth it, but yeah. But I just said, we can walk.
Walk and coffee.
I like
nice.
walk and coffee. Yeah. It's nice. It's not as intimidating as some dates can be.
And you're not sat opposite each other.
Yeah.
It's quite nice because you're doing something.
So anyhow,
activity.
En route, he rings me again and he says, oh, I ought to tell you, I've had a drink.
Oh.
Because I'm celebrating. And I was like, oh, okay. Is it your birthday? What are you celebrating? He said, I'll tell you when you get here. So here's a man I don't know. I'm going to meet him for a date in the day
and he's
at a lake, and he's pissed. And it's like a Tuesday or something like that. And I get there and I'm going to try not to be super superficial, but there was some serious things going on with his hair.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of lacquer. A lot of lacquer involved and it wasn't a good thing. But that was the least of my worries because he was pissed. There was no two ways about it. This guy was pissed. And so we sit on this bench because I'm like, and he gets out of his bag, his man bag, a can of lager.
I was going to say bag of cider.
And gives it to me.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, I'm fine. I just sat there and so he's 10 years younger than me. I sat there and I thought, how is this happened? How have I managed to pick one person out of potentially thousands, hundreds of thousands off a dating website? So anyhow, as it went on, he then just leaned over and stuck his tongue in my mouth.
What was he celebrating?
I was like, no. Oh, no. And then so I went to the toilet and I think I messaged my sister. I said, I'm with this guy and he says he's celebrating something and he's drunk and it's a fucking disaster. I need to leave. My dear old dad was ringing me at the time because he was in the throes of Alzheimer's. So he was ringing me constantly. So I had to get out as well, which was good. And I actually did go and see my dad after that date. I remember sitting there and thinking, should I tell him about it? But I didn't because I thought he
probably would have found it funny.
Probably, and then forgot and asked me about it again. So, as it turns out, he says to me, yeah, I'm celebrating. I've won £1 million.
And all you can afford is a can of lager on the bench.
And honestly, I was like, why are you not taking me out for dinner somewhere nice? I should be drinking champagne by now. But my immediate thought was, fantasist, crazy fantasist. But actually, as it transpired, he then showed me a video of him on loose swimming, having won this money.
No way.
Yeah. Way that
and
actually
that was
happened.
just his idea of a good time.
Yeah.
Can of lager on
But
the bench.
he did also say to me I was welcome to stay at his house and he'd be a gentleman and sleep on the sofa after meeting him for half an hour and he was pissed.
Oh, that's kind.
Yeah. So I left.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll go and sleep in my own bed.
Yeah. So that was that.
People are bizarre.
So I think he was like, yeah. And then I don't know whether I should save these for another episode. There's so many, but I mean, they are quite funny. How are we doing for time?
All right, keep going.
All right. So this one I've called Threw Her Off a Cliff, ?
Oh, I remember this one.
Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
So I got really...
This is my favourite.
Yeah, I got really, really excited. So yeah, threw her off a cliff, ? I got really excited about this date because I talked to him for ages beforehand. I was really invested in it. He was really deeply philosophical. I loved how his mind worked. He was quite funny.
He had the banter,
He fully had the banter, which I really like. I think I pride that above everything else. And as it transpired, he had suffered a massive loss. And so we ended up connecting over this loss. However, it didn't start out well because I asked him how his last relationship ended and he said she was dead.
Oh.
And I didn't know him very well at all. So I sent back a laughing face because I thought he was joking because of the nature of the conversation.
Yeah.
On text, it's really hard to decipher anything because there's no real sort of punctuation or anything. So, and then he was like,
I'm not joking.
He was, and he really lost his temper. He said, you're so insensitive, and had a massive go at me, a huge go at me, which brought me to tears because you know what I'm like. I like somebody thinks something bad about me and it's not what I meant and I'm not like that. And so I ended up ringing him saying, look, I just didn't understand what you were saying. I can't believe that you told me, it felt quite whimsical. And so I thought you were joking because of the nature of the tone of the conversation.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so as it transpired, he then sent me some news articles about this woman's death. And then that begged a few questions for me about his involvement in it, but he wasn't, so it was fine.
Well, he wasn't convicted.
So there was that. And then we carried on talking, and then it came to that he'd lost his driving licence.
Oh.
Men everywhere should just come clean if you've got shit like that going on.
Yeah.
No one wants to find out after. And he'd been banned for drink driving and being aggressive with a police officer. So I was like, okay, great.
He sounds lovely.
I met him after all of that.
And it didn't go well.
He came over here and we met locally and he turned up absolutely pissed. So here's a theme.
Yeah,
These men that just get really pissed before a date or during a date, seriously pissed. He was so drunk that we sat in a beer garden. It was a beautiful sunny day and he fell asleep mid-conversation.
Or is that your conversation? Poor man.
Perhaps it is.
No.
Perhaps it's that.
No, it can't
I bored
be.
him into a stupor.
You lulled into sleep with your dulcet tones.
No, I think it was all the cider he drank.
Absolutely. This is another thing with all the text messaging. It's so easy to misconstrue what somebody's saying.
Absolutely,
So
100%.
There's no replacement for actually face-to-face.
Yeah. So then that was him. That was the end of that. Yeah, and then I had one, I just called him Talk the Talk.
But couldn't walk the walk?
Yeah, not really. I mean, he was very full of himself.
Oh.
Very full of himself. We actually had a very similar background, very similar interests. But we had a couple of dates and then I messaged him just kindly saying, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is going anywhere. And he was like, it's funny, I was about to say the same thing. I was like, all right, mate.
Yeah. I didn't like you anyway, you lesbo.
It did feel a bit like that.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to send another message saying, but if you ever want to like get together again, we could do if you want to meet up for a drink. And I was like, well, which is it?
Yeah.
So that was the end of that. It doesn't really need any more justification, that one. So, I mean, already we're on like number 7.
Yeah.
And, you know, of the 7, one was it's just a disaster.
Sounds horrendous.
Yeah. And I'm all the time thinking, is this just because I'm a miserable git and I'm sad because of like doom and death in my life? Or is it just because this is just a shit show?
I think that, I just think some people are such bad communicators. Maybe they're all right. They're just, they don't know how to communicate.
I don't know. I did think maybe I'm just.
I mean, the laws of average, like you can't go on that many dates and them all be shit.
But I did. But
So
then
what's the running theme here?
after that, it's me, isn't it? I'm the common denominator. So then there was the beautiful human who, you know, was with me when my dad died.
Yeah.
And was amazing through all of that.
Beautiful.
And then, that's
the positivity that came out of it.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of where I am now. Where I'm.
So is this an advert for dates? Anybody interested in dates?
I don't think I am. I think that is
no. I think, you know, particularly when you're grieving still, I think maybe just concentrating on you and your family and getting through it.
How do you know? Like, and for our listeners as well, I hope you found my dating of 25 very entertaining. But
I can't wait to hear 2026 is.
How do we know when we're in the right place, in the right frame of mind to start dating again after loss? Is there a right place? Is there a right time? Because I think the answer is no. It's a bit like when you say to somebody, you know, you've got all these friends, haven't we, that go, I'm going to have a baby when I'm 29.
Yeah,
you think,
like it's that easy.
And also, like, you can plan that kind of stuff. You can't.
I think as well, you know, I often hear, you know, if someone loses a partner, and I've never lost a partner, and touch wood, you know, I won't have to deal with that anytime soon. You always hear that sometimes you hear like they've met somebody else.
Yeah.
And then people always so judgy, like, oh, she's met somebody else already and moved on. I think back to like my brother's wife.
Yeah.
I would think of nothing more than like for her to meet somebody else. She's so young.
Yeah.
And I would hate to think
and actually, even if she's not young.
Yeah, any age. I would hate to think that she wouldn't want that joy in her life. And spend
the rest of her life grieving and alone.
Yeah, like, sounds crazy to me. Like, of course.
I totally understand that.
You know, but people are so judgy, and that is based on time again.
Yeah. It's also, is it long enough? Look at our cultural and our cultural history with that is you've got to, you know, wear black and be
mourn for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
And if you're a man, you can get married next week.
Yeah, you're fine if you're a man.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Sorry, men, again.
But it's funny, when we lost Mom, I remember I actually put my dad on a dating site that somebody told me about, where as the adult child, you can sign your widowed parent, up to a dating site. They have to agree to it, but you do it all for them. Because I wanted him to meet somebody new.
Yeah.
He never did, but I wanted him to. Would have taken the load off me.
I think, you know, having somebody to share your life with, because we are so busy. Yeah, like I can try and support my brother's wife as much as I can. We were talking about it earlier. But you know, I can't be in her life all the time. I can't be there for all the things that her partner would. And, you know, and eventually, like I said, she's young, she's going to meet someone who will fulfill that for her.
Yeah.
And who am I to judge if it's in 6 months or if it's in 6 years? When it's right for her, it's right. You know.
I think it's interesting. So the situation with your brother is not dissimilar to the friend I lost earlier this year. Also left behind a young wife and young child. And although I don't know her that well, I know her reasonably well, but I knew him really well. I looked at her at the funeral and I thought, I hope this is just another beginning for you and for that child. And I'm sure he wouldn't want you to be miserable and alone forever.
Absolutely not. I mean, I think that's all we can ask for our loved ones that we have to leave behind, isn't it? That they do find happiness. Yeah. Imagine just being, I mean, grief's horrible enough, but imagine having to be like that
or
forever.
Being expected to stay like that forever.
Yeah, like or being judged if
like
you
a
actually,
societal expectation for you to stay like that.
It's like they're saying, well, come on, have you not got over your grief yet? But if you've met somebody, you know, that's too soon.
It's totally frowned upon, I think. And I think like you said, people are still really judgmental of that kind of thing, where I think I would, and you would personally really support somebody after they're bereaved, in a new relationship. I mean,
Sometimes they meet.
Don't do it the week after.
Yeah. Don't
Because
get on Tinder at the funeral. It's frowned upon.
Yeah, that's definitely frowned upon.
But you know, and sometimes they meet somebody who has equally lost, like the same loss.
Yeah.
Maybe they've lost a partner.
Yeah.
Maybe they meet through like a bereavement group.
I actually know a couple like that. So she lost her husband, he lost the wife, and they've got together and brought their families together, and it's really beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
They can still honour their memories of their loved ones, and they understand the importance of that person who's no longer there.
Yeah.
And as they both understand the losses. So, I mean, surely that's got to be something.
I think so.
Something beautiful.
I mean, so I wanted to round this up. I've got a few questions. Have we still got time?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I put a little note here. Is there any wonder why so many people go back to a toxic relationship if it's a bit better the devil you know? Do you know what I mean?
Better than the dating world.
Yeah. Better the devil you would know, better than online dating. So, you know, I have quite often seen it with my own eyes or experienced it myself where people just go back to somebody who you know isn't right for you, but you've made those you've got those bonds with, and although you know it's not the right thing, you know that they're going to probably let you cry because they understand that you're in grief or whatever, and that they might not be the right person, but they know enough about you to make you feel soothed by it. You can see why that kind of relentless cycle goes on, can't you?
Like not Mr. Right, but Mr. Right now. And it's...
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of I've tried to do a bit of a conclusion that we could discuss, and I wanted to know what's all of this really telling us. So death and dating, and is there any way to really know? You know, for example, let's go back to when is an appropriate time to talk about some of your trauma, let's say. Can we talk about death on a first date?
Well, we can because it's our job. I think it depends on the person. I think that suicide Neil, was it? If he was saying it out from a place where this is where I've been, this is my struggle, and this is where I am now, and it's informed his character.
Yeah.
Then maybe that is okay.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think it might be an overshare. I don't know if I would be keen.
I do understand how people come to overshare. I can definitely do it when I'm nervous. So maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Maybe
and I think that is, we do try and quickly find common ground with somebody. And when you're nervous, you do say things just to, get the conversation going. And maybe that's what it is.
So what do we do if we're very uncomfortable, if they are very uncomfortable with it? So say, you've decided to go and date again, right? And you know yourself well enough that actually the date's going well, and they ask you a little bit about your recent past, and you've got a recent bereavement in your past, and you want to talk to them about it, and you decide to open up and do it. But what you get from them is a reaction that is definitely one where they are feeling horror, or certainly visibly uncomfortable. Do we continue down that path with that person because there are loads of other things, all those other boxes may be getting ticked along the way, but that one thing is not happening? Is it worth our investment? Is it worth our time?
I think it depends where you're at and how many times you've dated that person. And I think it's good to appreciate other people's boundaries, because what you might find acceptable on a first date, they might not. Or, it depends on where you are at your dating.
So skinny dipping in the Avon is out of the question.
I think most of those men would probably enjoy that. But what I'm saying is, if you were on date number 7 and they were visibly turned off by you talking about that, or they didn't want to talk about it, perhaps they're not the right person for you, even if they do tick all those boxes. But if it's on date 1, perhaps they'll then do a podcast about you and slag you off. I think it all depends where you are. Do you know what I mean in that relationship? For me, I think date 1 is probably, and if somebody was, even now we do it. If you're talking to somebody about death and loss, and you say something and they feel uncomfortable, we feel obliged to apologise.
So that was my next question. That is exactly what I've put next. Is we hope that person, whatever number date you're on, will reply or respond to you in a sympathetic, empathetic, or at least a way that they understand. But if they don't, And, it does happen. People sort of just sit there stunned, don't they? And not even just in the dating arena, but like
In life.
in life. Just sit there, I'm sorry to hear that. Silence.
Yeah.
And then, I would fill that
I was
horrifying
going,
gap.
shots.
Yeah. Anyhow, enough of all this death talk. Let's get some tequila.
Let's get wankered.
Okay, so thanks, Carrie. I think you've cleared that up for me. That's brilliant. I don't know why I didn't ask you before. This is great.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know is the answer.
Oh, wow, I've got one last question. Should we be dating at all in grief?
I don't. I think that's very personal.
Time's running out, sweetheart.
I mean, it does make you think of that, doesn't it? You think to yourself, wow, life's short.
I mean, people keep saying to me things like, just take some time out. And I'm like, how much time? I'm 43.
I haven't got much left.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got less left than I've already had.
Yeah. Anything could happen. Just look at what happens all the time to people. Does that mean we start getting really whimsical and just jump into everything feet first?
Say yes. So you're having a break from the world of dating, or
I don't know. We'll see.
Watch this space.
I tend to change my mind all the time, but I think the takeaway is, I personally don't think there's a right or wrong time to do it, other than maybe like immediately after a funeral. Don't go start dating then.
Yeah. Or don't invite a date to a funeral.
Well, I don't know. They might be quite nice. They might be into that. But I think it's each to their own. There isn't an answer, is there? There's not a one size fits all for anything in grief, including dating.
Absolutely.
Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning into It's a Death Sentence. Please keep listening to our weekly episodes.
And if you like our show, please like, share and subscribe.
We are dying to talk to you.